Hi, I'm sorry, my acting wasn't working. Just give me like 20 seconds.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on After GMS on the News 2 Facebook page. I see some people already starting to join in on the fun on this Thursday. I'm Stacey Spivey with Megan Molaris, Terrain Kirksey, and Ed Matthews.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover here. A lot of conversations we know are going to maybe get your blood boiling. Robocalls and spoof calls, definitely the case. But how about something that's a little more positive? Well, if you like hot weather, I guess it's a good thing.
Oh, certainly, yeah. The weather out there the past couple days and the next few days you will absolutely love. It feels like a sauna out there right now with the heat and the humidity, and with this typical summertime weather pattern, we'll see the chance of an isolated pop-up afternoon shower or storm. High temperatures in the low 90s, warm and muggy again tomorrow. The rain chance will increase though as we go through the day on into the evening as a cold front approaches. A couple of storms that we see tomorrow evening could be on the strong side, so we'll have to track that carefully for you. The front will kind of just hang around a little bit for Saturday, giving us a chance of scattered showers, and then it gets cool for Sunday. Things have been trending in a cooler direction. For now, we'll put the high temperature on Sunday in the upper 60s. Could be a little bit cooler than that, so just stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on that. Looks like we could see one of those wedge type of weather patterns set up that we're used to in this part of the country. For Sunday, that shouldn't last long. That should break just in time for Memorial Day, all the observances for Monday. I know there are a lot of events that may be going on to observe that day. The weather appears to cooperate nicely for that with lots of sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s, and then it starts to get warmer again after that. That's a quick look at your 7-day forecast.
Okay, now let's get to our first talker this morning. There are some things that people notoriously disagree on, like what temperature your thermostat should be on. But most of us are united when it comes to this next topic, robo and spoof calls. We want to know, what kind of robocalls are you getting? You can let us know in the comments. But thankfully, North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein is hoping to hang up these calls so we don't have to. Stein has put together a 51 Attorneys General coalition to negotiate anti-robocall principles with big telephone companies. He wants to make sure the caller ID information matches where the call was originated. But it's not an easy fix. Stein says it must be universally implemented. The FCC is stepping up and will start using technology to help get this started at the end of June. So I had asked on here, about how many calls people get a day, and I am shocked at some of the numbers. I mean, I usually get around, I would say 1 to 3 a day. There might be a bad day where I get more than 5, but they are so annoying. I know we all can agree on that you look at your phone, someone's calling you, and it comes up as the area code that you live in or that your phone number is. And so you think, oh, that might be somebody I know. And then you pick up and it's a scammer calling you, or it's a spoof. So it's annoying. That's the only word I can think of to describe this.
Right, no matter how many numbers you block that you don't recognize, they keep calling back on different numbers. And sometimes it is someone you think you know because of that area code coming from maybe your hometown, or if you're expecting a call from, say, a doctor's office and you see a number you don't have already programmed in your caller ID, maybe you're inclined to answer it. And so it's frustrating when it's not your expected person and then you're stuck talking to what is most likely a spammer. I think spoofing is almost more annoying than robocalls. robocalls. I mentioned this on the Good Morning Show. Sometimes I'll get calls from real people saying, hey, I just missed a call from you. Why did you call me 5 times? Like, who are you and what do you want? And I say, I'm looking at my call log. I didn't call you. And they said, well, yes, you did. Your number's right here. Isn't it, so-and-so? And they read my exact number. And that's how I know that someone has spoofed my number to pretend to be somebody else and potentially cause harm to someone. And that is so frustrating, Taran.
Yes, they don't care. And it's very, very annoying. And sometimes I'll answer just to argue with them, just, because I'm upset, or just for fun. Occasionally it's just for fun. But they'll catch an attitude right back with you too. So, it's just, and then we just go back and forth. It's a fun game. We have nothing to do. But, it really is just so annoying that they spend the time doing this, and they must be succeeding at this. If they weren't doing, succeeding at this occasion, they would stop doing it. So I think that's the most frustrating part. And Ed, you made a good point. They are not only just calling people that are younger, they're also calling people that are older, Ed, and in some cases,
people like me. Well, I sprint to my phone and I look at it and it's like, who is that? So I just don't answer. I on average, maybe get about 3 to 5, and they look real. I mean, they've got the 336 area code. But if you want me to communicate back with you and I don't recognize your number, use your brain and leave me a voicemail. Voicemail is there for a purpose. Now I got a question, gang. What do these nut jobs, what do they gain from this? Do they get paid for doing spoof calls? Do they work for some nut job company that pays them to do this? I don't see what their benefit is, rather than just annoying people and fun and games. Does anybody know an answer to that? I mean, do they get paid big bucks for bugging me every day?
Well, a lot of times they're just scamming people out of personal information that they can use to take their identity. When the warranty people will call and say, what type of car do you have? And eventually they'll probably ask for your address and all this other stuff. Well, we need a credit card to start the service and all that jazz. So, the best course of action that I've heard, so take that with a grain of salt. Who knows what I I could be way off. But it's just not the answer, because eventually they might think that maybe it's not an active phone number anymore. But I don't follow my own advice.
Now, I don't know if this is true, if you don't mind me butting in. I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, I do, have in the back of my head, and I'd love to just talk some junk to these people and bug them. I have heard that maybe if you answer the call and you communicate with them, is it possible that could increase the number or the frequency of calls that you get in the future? I think probably the best thing is just to ignore the call.
Yeah, Ed, I've actually heard that, and I've heard before that you're not supposed to hit ignore and hang up on them. You're supposed to let it run. I guess I would go, or for it to ring. I mean, I guess I would go along with what Taran says, that they may think that that's not a working number anymore. So usually I just hit it to where it will silence it, but it doesn't actually hang up on them. I've heard that. I don't know if it's true.
And then it would automatically go to voicemail, or at least the way it is on my phone. If I don't answer it and it keeps ringing, they get my voicemail and they'll leave you a message, man. Oh boy, Ed, you've been bad. Boy, we're going to arrest you and throw you in prison. It's like, okay, all right.
Let me know when you're coming to get me.
I'm ready.
It sounds outrageous to us, but I can see how people, especially those who are elderly, get totally duped by this and lose sometimes thousands of dollars and everything they have because of scammers like this. They've gotten so good. Even I feel like we are in the know when it comes to this kind of stuff, because we have our 2 Wants to Know department here who's always investigating, providing awesome information about red flags. But there was one time I had to get a rental car for something when my car was in the shop. I had just left the rental car dealership and I got a phone call from someone saying, hey, I'm so-and-so with the rental company. I need your credit card information. And I thought that was really suspicious because I'd already given them my credit card information. But then I thought, well, how would anybody know that I had just been there unless it was some kind of an insider thing, which I hope it wasn't. And I was that close to pulling out my credit card and saying, okay, and something just didn't resonate with me. And then this person kept getting more agitated the more questions I asked, and said, no, I have to go. My shift is leaving. That doesn't sound right.
Yep.
And then when I asked to speak to a manager, that's when he hung up. So I can see how this happens. It's scary.
Yeah, they're very convincing. I mean, it's, you know, during tax time, if you get a phone call saying, well, you know, the IRS is looking for this or you owe this, and you, for a second, you're like, you know, well, maybe I need to check on this.
Sure.
And yeah, they're good at what they do, unfortunately. So, and you see, like Stacy said, everyone is touched by this, and I'm sure folks are commenting their stories.
Oh, yeah.
About what's going on too.
Yeah. I mean, the comments, I just can't believe how many phone calls people get a day. I mean, it's just crazy. Let me scroll up because we have so many people on here talking about this. Sharia says too doggone many, 10 to 11.
Oh.
Debbie says 10 to 12 a day. Laura says at least 5. So annoying. Let's see. Joanne says, I get calls about my student loan. I never had one. Yeah, I get that too. I don't have any student loans. I never have. And I will get phone calls saying you owe this on your student loans. Scott says, your car warranty is almost expired. This is your last opportunity. He says, I get this at least once a day. Charlie says he's been getting over a dozen robocalls. Let's see, Jason says car warranty, and he's won a free stay with Marriott Hotels. I get 1 to 5 calls a day.
Nice.
Gosh. So this is interesting too. Heather said, I had someone spoof my mom's number 2 years ago. I called back and no response. It scared me, but my mom was okay and it wasn't her. And that's where they can be so tricky. You see the number, you know it's your mom calling you. Of course you're going to answer, and then it's one of these guys. So goodness.
It's terrible. I really hope that what the attorneys general have proposed works, because it is time to put an end to this. It is crazy. I would think the phone companies would be on board with this because, I mean, you're less likely to use your phone if you are inundated with these types of calls. So hopefully it's a collective effort and we get something done. It is more than time to do that.
Definitely.
All right, well, this has been quite a talker. We'll continue this, of course, as we follow the latest with that proposal to do something about it. But first, let's get to our morning headlines. And we are learning more about some moments surrounding a deadly double shooting on Highway 29 in Rockingham County. According to public records, Martin Cox Jr., investigators say, is the person who followed 3 people on motorcycles before shooting and killing 2 of them. Investigators believe Cox went to his Brown Summit home before heading north again on the highway. Investigators found him south of Louisville, Kentucky, Tuesday with his girlfriend hauling a car trailer. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. A federally supported effort to get the community vaccinated is coming to an end. Greensboro's mass vaccine site at the Four Seasons Mall, where I and maybe many of you have gotten vaccinated, is closing this evening. Our Denise McMillan has more on how today will go.
Well, the breakdown process has already begun. When this site first opened in March, they had several registration tents set up outside, but as you can see, those have already come down. But emergency management tells me they still plan to have a pretty busy day today. About 700 appointment slots are filled for today. Shots will also go into the arms of those who drive up or walk in without appointments. When this site opened, the goal was 3,000 shots a day for 8 weeks. But there were some challenges with the national pause of the J&J vaccine. It forced the site to switch to the Pfizer vaccine. This led to some hesitancy, causing a decrease in demand. So far, the site has vaccinated a little more than 140,000 people compared to their goal of 168,000.
You know, I think it's just really made us a lot more generally aware of general public health concerns as we deal with regular disaster things, as we deal with things like shelters and evacuations and those sort of things. And, you know, acquiring and distributing PPE just gave us a whole new outlook and a whole new sense of how those kind of things need to operate. So it really has been a learning experience, I think, and an eye-opener for us in emergency management as well.
And part of the reason these clinics here in Greensboro have run so smoothly is because of military personnel. Many have been relieved of their duties, but Major Chris Royce has stuck around until the end.
I'm from Greensboro, so I saw my coworkers, my neighbors, their family members come through here, so I got an extra thrill to really kind of know that I'm helping my community, and I'm watching them come through. So that was really exciting for me.
And 11 weeks is how long the federally supported site has operated here in Greensboro, and they have really made a difference. They even partnered with Guilford County Schools to get young students vaccinated. But today, the last shot will go out at 7 p.m.
Well, some North Carolina lawmakers put a plan in motion to help with the state's hiring problem. They're pushing a bill that would give $1,500 bonuses to people on unemployment benefits who return to work this summer. Wow, federal labor officials have to sign off on this still. Bill supporters say the current $300 unemployment benefit boosts are a non-incentive for people to go back to work. If you are looking for a part-time gig, the Stephen Tanger Center for the Performing Arts in downtown Greensboro is hiring. It wants to fill many part-time positions like box office, ushers, maintenance production, and more. You can apply at the job fair on June 9th. It'll be at the Greensboro Coliseum Fieldhouse from 3 to 8.
Okay, let's turn now to our next talker. You may have seen this. The author and illustrator of the classic book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, has passed away. In his honor, we wanted to know was the Very Hungry Caterpillar a childhood staple for you, or is there another iconic book that just sticks out in your memory? Go ahead and let us know in the comments. But Eric Carle died at the age of 91 this week. The Hungry Caterpillar is one of around 75 books he wrote and illustrated during his lifetime. And fun fact, The Very Hungry Caterpillar was initially a story about a character, Will the Worm, but it was changed after some advice from an editor. And that was a book that I remember my mom read to me over and over and over again as a kid. And we want to know about your childhood memories. Is there an iconic book that sticks out in your mind? Mike shared this photo saying he met Eric Carle in Boone once. He said he was really nice and down to earth. Diana has a very hungry caterpillar lover in her life. She said, I read this to my son or my grandson so much that after a while all I had to do was turn the pages and he would recite it to me when he was 3 years old. He loved this book so much. That's how you know the kids love it, when they memorize all the words to the story. My mom actually was a reading teacher for years and years, and so books were always a part of my life, and she actually got to meet Eric Carle and had him sign The Very Hungry Caterpillar and Brown Bear, What Do You See for me, so I have those autographed by him. She met him at a convention in Indianapolis actually, and those were two of my favorite books growing up, but I absolutely loved Rainbow Fish and Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. Loved that one. I mean, the list could go on and on. I think those are two of the ones though that really stick out to me. And Madeline, I love that story as well.
Madeline. Chicka Chicka Boom, that's a favorite in our house. I can read it to you by heart. A told B, okay, I'll digress. But yes, that's a good one. My son loves Goodnight Moon. He is obsessed with moons. I think I've told Taran this. Like, he will, when we're out on our walks in the late afternoon, he will look up in the sky, and even if it's still daylight out, he can find the moon anywhere it is, even if it's just a sliver of a crescent. And he goes, oon! And I think it's because of that book, Goodnight Moon. He loves moons. So yes, maybe a future meteorologist, perhaps. Who knows? He also loves Brown Bear, Baby Bear, a book called 10 in the Bed, which we kept from my childhood. So it's 30-something years old now, and we have it now and read it to him. I have to prevent him from tearing the pages. I mean, because it's a classic. And then he loves anything Pete the Cat. But Hungry Caterpillar is also a favorite, Taran, as I know you've said before, it's your favorite book of all time.
It is. I mean, I love that book. I mean, it just brings back memories of childhood when, you know, life was just a lot more simpler. You know, everything was good. And we had a little caterpillar, I guess, unit in second grade where you get the caterpillars and you raise them in your little cups, and then you put them in the netting, and then, you know, when it becomes the little chrysalis, and then it comes out and becomes a butterfly, and then you release them over the course of like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. And, you know, of course, they read the book, and you see the caterpillar go from a little tiny caterpillar to a big old caterpillar, just like in the book. And I used to love that. So yeah, that's probably the book that comes to mind when I think about my childhood, for sure.
It makes me wonder, what in the world was I doing when I was a little kid? Because some of these books I recognize the titles, and others I don't. But to be quite honest, you know, my parents read the weather out of the newspaper to me. And you see what happened, right? Here I am.
It worked out well for you.
Yeah.
You were looking at those books about that muscle car you had. I hadn't forgot about that in high school.
The 66
you read the car books.
Yeah,
that's
Mustang
right.
stories.
funny.
I love the Dr. Seuss books.
Oh, those are classics.
You know, as a kid, I was always fascinated by green eggs and ham. I often wondered, I wonder what green eggs would taste like. The yellow ones taste pretty good. But
They do.
I think the Dr. Seuss series of books were just amazing and fantastic.
Someone mentioned Harold and the Purple Crayon. I forgot about that one. So good. All right, Stacy, we have several good book suggestions for anybody looking for something to read to their little ones.
Oh yeah, so Debbie actually said that she loves a Velveteen Rabbit. Megan, you mentioned that too.
Yes.
Carol says my granddaughter loves Madeline. Heather is talking about, I'm assuming, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. She said that's my favorite children's book, still my favorite. So sad. Let's see. Scrolling up, Carol said my kids always loved Goodnight Moon. And Joanne says that's her favorite book to read to her grands, Goodnight Moon. And then, of course, Jason said Harold and the Purple Crayon. You know, as we've been kind of like building a library for Baylor for her room and her nursery, and it's been so fun to go back and read those books because it brings back all those childhood memories, and I can't wait to read them to her. And we have, I think, almost every Dr. Seuss book known to mankind. So Ed, you're more than welcome to come and read to her whenever you want.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that.
Uncle Ed, reading time with Uncle Ed. I'll bring mine over too.
Hey, that sounds like it could be very popular.
It could.
Yeah, and Uncle Tran, you can just bring the treats.
That'll work. I'll bring all the snacks for the adults.
I don't know if I want Tran bringing my kid snacks. He likes all the sugary stuff. I'll be wired for days.
Yeah, but take all this sugar and candy, kid, and then I'm going to leave now. Let your parents enjoy watching you run around.
Yeah.
Bring on the gummy
Don't know about
bears.
that.
That's right.
We would have a fun little book club, wouldn't we? Okay, let's take a look at our forecast. Should be able to see the moon nice and brightly tonight. It's a clear day.
Yeah, just a few scattered clouds, but a lot of blue sky. We'll see at least a few cumulus clouds develop this afternoon. There could be a pop-up shower or storm, but we mainly just stay hot and dry. We'll be up around 90 and back up near 90 tomorrow. With the approach of a cold front, we get a pretty good shot of some showers and thunderstorms later Friday and Friday night. We'll have to keep an eye on some of those storms. We couldn't rule out a few strong storms. We don't want the storms, but Ed says bring on the rain. Yeah, and we do have a pretty good shot of it right on through Saturday. And then we'll start to dry it out. But look at Sunday. Sunday could turn out very interesting. Lots of clouds kind of wedged in with some much, much cooler air. We potentially could stay in the upper 60s to near 70 with clouds and a little spotty drizzle. But oh, it gets better. It does. Monday through Wednesday, the sun is back. Temperatures move back up. We're into the mid 70s on Memorial Day, 80 on Tuesday, and low 80s are back by Wednesday.
Looking forward to that cool down. Maybe it's not what everybody wants for Memorial Day weekend, but we'll take what we can get. This is springtime in North Carolina.
Up and down.
Yeah, wasn't it just a few weeks ago? I mean, it was kind of cold outside, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd much
know what
rather
to
have this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
All right, hey, thanks so much for spending part of your morning here with us on After GMS. We do this on the News 2 Facebook page every weekday at 7:45.
We hope that you have a wonderful Thursday and hope to see you back here tomorrow. Have a good day.